Shalom. First, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakavadash. And let's just get into it with an article. Well, not an article, but a lesson. We're going to do some reading of Proverbs 1. Might do some skipping around. But we definitely going to get this word up, and get this work in. This is Proverbs 1:1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Now Solomon is Yahweh Shah. If you could receive that. Solomon was Yahweh Shah, I should say. And so, let's go on. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. So to know wisdom and instruction, to receive the words of understanding. And what's the words of understanding? Is the scriptures. It's truth. Keeping the laws. The laws that we can keep here in Babylon. Known as America. It's the good way. But our people have forgotten the good way. All they know is this new way. How to be wicked as hell, sodomites, gangsters, drug dealers, low-life scumbags. That's all you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans have become accustomed to, man. Just being a bunch of dirtbag lowlifes. It says, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity. Let's get that in the NLT. It says, the purpose to teach, to live. Hold on, Slack. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, and to help them do what is right, just and fair. That's what the whole purpose of this word of being just and teaching your people, the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, to live right. And we ain't talking about, you saw a wounded bird or something, you helped it, and you saw an old Edomite crossing the street, you help them walk across the street. No, we talking about helping your own people, man. But it ain't like that, so the only thing you can do now is, pretty much help a brother, man. Someone who's in the like-minded, in the same spirit as you are, and that spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Now, that doesn't mean you don't help and, the 2/3 out, like as far as give them charity and being upright as possible, straightforward with your brother much as possible. You still have to deal accordingly, man. Because at the end of the day, they may be wicked as hell. It may be the 2/3, but they still your brother, man. Or sister at that. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. Did you get that? In the NLT. It says, these proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. Yeah, because the simple, the scriptures speak about how Jake is simple. Our people, they not too deep. Jake can only go, you can only scratch the surface with the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't understand how the world works for the most part. They're they are simple people. Like it was Nicodemus. You know, he was real simple. You know, when Yahweh Shah was telling him you got to be born again, he was like, what? You got to go back in your mother's womb? You know, and that's just one example of Jake being simple, man. You know, so it's supposed to give knowledge to the simple and discernment to the young. You know, because when you're young, they say you're young and naive. But this truth, you know, this Bible, this truth, it wises you up. You know, you on a different level when you got the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You got discernment. You know, for the most part, you grow and grow into this thing. You know, but for the most part, you got a lot of discernment than the average just knucklehead Babylonian out here, or anybody in the world, man. When you're a man of the Lord and you got this truth. It says a wise man will hear and will increase learning. Yeah, a wise man will increase learning when they hear this truth. Because what you're gonna do, or what you wanna do, is learn more. You know, you're gonna wanna dig deeper, you're gonna wanna read. You know, you're gonna wanna ask questions. And you're gonna wanna do research. So this Bible for Israelite is the building block, one of the building blocks of wisdom. But the main thing to getting wisdom is you gotta fear the Most High. That's the first step in order to obtain wisdom, man. You got to bow down to the Most High, man, and realize, hey, He can kill your ass and do anything He wants to you at any given time, and understand that first. You know, that you ain't untouchable, Jake. You can be touched at any moment. It says, and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Yeah, and those wise counsels is the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is this Bible, this truth. You will hear from the counsel, you know, from the men of the Lord, the prophets. You know, wise instruction that's given the 100% truth. You know, they'll go in the scriptures, show you what you're supposed to be doing, you know, according to the law. Might I add, the laws you can keep when you're in Babylon, when we under this so-called white man system, that, you know, how to deal accordingly with your brother, you know, how to handle your woman, your children. So this Bible is all around, it's well-rounded for the Israelite. This is your maintenance manual, pretty much, upon the earth. It tells you what to eat, what not to eat. You know? It says verse 6, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Yeah, because there are dark sayings in these scriptures that only the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua can open your eyes to get it from higher men up, you know, that taught me. You know, I was taught, and then the Spirit has to be on you in order for you to receive it. You know, sometimes you might need some more precepts. You know, as time goes on, you might not, you know, swallow it right then. But as time goes on, you start digesting it. You know, it starts going down. You run into some precepts, you know, or some more precepts come out on the subject. And then you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I got it now. You know? But that's not going to happen if Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not dealing with you, man. You know, point blank, period. Yeah, that's just what it is. You know, because when I was growing up, you know, in the so-called Christian church, you know, none of this was clear to me, man. None of it. You know? Nothing made sense when it comes to the, you know, when reading the scriptures like Revelation and things of that, especially Revelation, that didn't even make sense. You know, because the Spirit wasn't on me back then. You know, it wasn't time for me to be awakened, man. But now, fast forward to the day, you know, I'm fully woke, man. You know, and how you become fully woke is, like I keep saying, man, you got Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai has to be dealing with you. You know? And two, you got to eat the whole roll, man. You got to eat the whole roll. You know, that's the Old and the New Testament, man. You got to start off on the milk. You know, by you becoming a newborn babe, you know, in this truth. You know, you got to start off with the milk. As a newborn, you got to drink milk. You can't be firstly in this truth and you want to go straight to the meat. You're going to choke and bug out and be right back in the world, man. But even worse. You know, so, you know, but these scriptures will wisen you up, man. This truth will guide the righteous man on the right path. You know, and they're saying these dark sayings, man, these breakdowns, you know, those are dark sayings about how America is going to be destroyed, known as Babylon. You know? Yeah, it's dark, but it's actually light for us, man, for the righteous. You know, it shows us that this captivity that we're in under Esau, Edom, and so-called white man is not going to go on forever, man. It has an expiration date. You know, and we're going to be free, man. We're going to be back in our homeland. We're going to be in our new bodies. We're going to have those new bodies. And we're going to live life and love life, man. You know, and love Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai like we're supposed to, man. Like we're supposed to. You know, going back to that Deuteronomy 10 and 12, man. What's required of us. You know, it's already going to be in us, man. And what's required of thee. You know what I'm talking about? That 10 and 12, bro. Something else. Verse 7. For the fear of Yahweh is beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Yes, so the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. That's the key, essential element that you need in order to, you know, have the Holy Spirit even deal with you, man. The Ruach Kodesh. You know, you got to have that in you. You know, and if you don't, you got to pray Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that He gives you the, you know, 100% truth. On top of that, man, that He guides you to the 100% truth. It says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Yeah, our people, man, the 2/3, they despise wisdom and instruction. They despise it. And not only the 2/3 in America, but all over the world where Jake is scattered, man. The so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, wherever Jake is scattered, man, they hate wisdom and instruction. They want to do things their way. You know, or they want to do things the Egyptology way. Or they want to do things the Muhammad way, man. Or whatever the case may be. They want to do everything but except to fall in line with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And that's no bueno, man. Meaning no good. You know, that's not good instructions, man. That's not good knowledge. Going off and doing whatever the hell you want to do, and not following these laws, man, in this book, following the guidelines that's been laid out for us right before us, man. You know, it don't get no simpler than that, Jake, man. What we need is laid out, man, and it's plain. It's plain, man. The visions are plain. Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. It says, my child, in the NLT, listen, your father corrects you. Do not neglect your mother's instruction. Yeah, because you got to be corrected, man. I don't care who you are, how old you get, being in this stony heart, man, having this stony heart. You know, we're gonna go off, man, and you need the scriptures to bring you back and refresh your mind, man. You know, to remind you, hey. Now, fast forward today, you don't have your mother giving you instruction. You know, they giving you instruction of the world. You know, and damn near due to the curses, man, we don't have no fathers. And if we do, they in the world. So now you just have to deal with your spiritual father, man. And your mother is going to have to be wisdom, man, Sophia. And that's just what it is. You know, I tried telling this truth to my mom, and you know, and what she said is, "Oh, we can break the curses." Oh, right then I knew she was done. You know. You know. So your father could be the Most High Yahweh, or your spiritual father on the earth, man. You know, giving you the instruction. You know, a man of the Lord is telling you the way you should go, man. And that way you should go is after Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. There's nothing else to go after, man. So, hey, man, I think I'm gonna end it off on that. Because, look, let me go over this grate here. Look, man, because it came out in the video, you know, with what's her face, you know, it came out in the video that what's his face, Reagan, you know, he was talking about how tariffs, you know, I was just stalling because it was a group of damn Edomite bitches hanging out, you know, but, you know, they were listening. You could hear me in the car a little bit, you know, and he was saying how tariffs in the short term, they look good, but eventually they destroy economy, in so many words. And as you see, these tariffs are destroying the economy, the U.S. economy, and that Trump is the closer. You know? So this is the time to get wisdom and instruction and knowledge right now. Because all this is going to go away. And Jacob's trouble is already brewing. It's already started. You know? So all hell is getting ready to break loose, man. And we're going to see the 2/3 perish. Lord willing, I'm with that number. And we're gonna see some wild things, man. Some blood curdling things, some screams and whatever, man. And you're gonna have to have the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and the knowledge already in you to get you through what's coming. Because without it, you're going to fold, man. Yeah, you're going to fold. But hey, I pray this video was edifying to the elect. Hang on, shalom, keep pushing, man. We almost out of here. Before I get out of here, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Shalom.